Hello, it's me, Annalisa. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm late, lighting a candle. I just remembered there's a bill I needed to pay. So that's the truth. I was quickly paying a bill because that's the way my brain works. I hope everybody's well. Lighting some candles, getting the ambiance set properly. I hope everybody's doing well. It is Memorial Day weekend. If you celebrate, happy Memorial Day weekend. Some consider this the beginning of summer. We still have school for another month, so not my summer. Hi, Kay. I hope you're well. I saw you have paid for 2 questions. I'm a little behind. We went to walk in the arboretum near my house, near-ish. And so yeah, it was really lovely. There was a lot of flowers, a lot of little beehive, which was adorable. Little teeny tiny bees, all kinds of bees, and little hiking trails and all that good stuff. And that's excitement. I hope everybody's doing well. Okay, let me write down the list so that I can share with you. Kay, you have 2, so you can start writing your question if you want. Ashley has 2. Oh no, 1. Sorry, dear. Nicole has 2. Devery has 2. And Regine, hello, Regine, has 1. Hi, KK. Oh, thank you. Hello. So, let's see, for about a week and hang out with me in spirit. I don't think you're wrong about feeling his energy. And I feel like so many people, we second guess, and I used to do this too before I got really comfortable with my abilities and my intuition. We discount it, right? So we're like, we question whether or not, like, is this real? Am I really feeling this or am I not feeling this? Like, because of all kinds of reasons, right? All kinds of reasons that we would, society, familial, religious, if you grow up with the, especially in American culture, and because even in other cultures that do practice Christianity, like, they on the idea of connecting with spirit. I mean, look at Mexico and Hispanic cultures. There's predominantly Catholic as far as the religion, from what I know. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't worry about it. Ashley, I didn't get a chance. I saw that it was like, in hold or whatever. And I didn't get to email you back and say, don't worry about it. You're here so much. I'm not worried about it. I don't, if you were a first timer, I might question it, but I got you. Just lighting some frankincense. Did you know frankincense is a better energy here than sage? Like sage, I mean, I guess I probably should do sage before I do readings because it opens up and welcomes spirit. So it's not really what you should be using to clear homes. And if you follow indigenous people, you find that out. So frankincense, which I also find is interesting because if you think about, if you've ever been to a Catholic mass, like a high holy day or for a funeral, they burn frankincense, and that's like the scent that they're using when they're in there. I'm doing this because the priest like swings the thing, whatever. So they practice witchcraft. So screw them for getting any Christians getting on us. They practice witchcraft too. Welcome. Just kidding. Not bitter. So first, yes, he is with you. I will try and connect with him and see if there's a message, but genuinely, so I see him just like putting his head down, and the feeling I get is really just more so just wanting to comfort you in your time of need. Y'all, I told you I got that little crystal box thing, didn't I? From those like scoop things. Does anybody know stones? I think this might be a pyrite. It's kind of got this like goldy whatever. It's a mushroom, but it could also be, I don't know, they're a little dirty. Uh, and this one has like a silvery kind of, it's interesting. It's real heavy. So I don't know what the hell it is. I'm not a rock person. I gotta be honest. I mean, I just don't know them. I know them if I buy them because I usually connect with them a certain way. And then I got this elephant thing, which honestly, I don't know. I was a little disappointed. I mean, I wasn't expecting much. Let's be honest. I wasn't like, I'm gonna get the best stones ever. I was just like, ah. And I got this little angel, and I think most of these are like agate with like some quartz, druzy, and some moonstone. And again, I think most of them are agates. Because this is not tiger's eye. I don't know what the hell it is, but that's okay. They're fun. I'll probably give some to my kids because whatever. But if you're looking for like real stones, because even this, like I got a tower. Where's the tower? I got this purple tower, and I was actually expecting it to be dyed quartz. So, I mean, it's not, but I think it's, again, I think it's an agate. I don't know where it went. Whatever. All right. So they're, they're fun, but this might have tiger's eye in it. Or might be tiger's eye. But whatever. Don't get your hopes up. I guess that's what I'm saying to you. Don't get your hopes up. Because whatever. Okay, so all right. So I feel like he's really just trying to comfort you through the time. I don't feel like he has a message of like, I found your lost item in the house, or you should be doing X, Y, and Z. So ask a different question. Let's do that because I'm just validating what you already know here. Well, you're most definitely feeling him with you. And it's not like, it's funny because I just like heard this question of like, does he not know he's dead or crossed? And it's like, no, they know, but they're also not limited to the belief systems of what humans have, where energy is very finite and, because they see spirits all the time and they don't go like, am I really seeing a spirit? They're like, why don't you see this spirit? Like, what is wrong with you, human, that you cannot see this? I always think it's really funny. I have to tell you that we as humans think we're so smart. And yet half the time we can't figure out what animals are saying, but they figure out how to like learn our language. No problem. Just saying. So Kay, if you want to ask a different questions, that's fine. For Texas texting me because I donate to Beto. It's been a rough week, huh? Let's do that. But just know Kodak is definitely with you. My dogs, like my childhood dogs, still visit me. They're like, I keep getting this feeling of being like a nomad still, like, and also maybe, have you ever thought about going to work like in like as a, I don't know if it's like a park ranger, if you can just do that, but working like with a wildlife or expedition type thing for the summer? Because it's just this feeling of like I'm out hiking a lot, but I'm getting paid to do it. And I have to say, and I don't want to sound cold-hearted, but I feel like because Kodak passed, it frees you up to do something like this. Would you Is that like a part of like doing a lot of outdoor stuff? It's a feeling of being like a nomad. I don't feel like I'm picking a specific, like I'm going to move and settle down and that's it. It feels like somebody who drives around in their van and like lives out of their van, and not because they're homeless, but because they just want to adventure. I said somebody who's, I don't know, am I breaking up on my end or am I breaking up? Does anybody else say I'm breaking up? One of my kids might be playing Roblox. It just feels like I'm a nomad. I feel like I'm moving around a lot. Like I don't feel like I'm in one place for a long time. Honestly, I don't feel like you like Fargo. Okay, so let me send my kid a text. Tell her to stop playing Roblox. She might be. Okay. If it doesn't get better in the next couple minutes, I'll run up and bug her. And then you guys can just sit and stare at a blank chair because I don't know what else to do. It feels like, am I still breaking up? This feels like a nomad. I don't feel like you're going to like Fargo at all. Feels like I like outdoor opportunities, but not necessarily the people. Like they're nice enough. Okay. They're nice enough. Feel a real deep connection with anybody. Let me just look at the map. Because I want to make sure I'm getting my geography right. And I know I should know these better. I actually see, so I feel you a little bit further west and a little bit more south than North Dakota. Did you say North Dakota? Yeah, I'm right in there, right. So I feel like, and where I'm looking on the map where I'm feeling, because they were like showing me where on the map, but like not. So I would feel like in the Wyoming, like Colorado area. I don't know. It just feels a little more you. Maybe Nebraska, Wyoming, or Colorado. Initially alone, I don't see you with someone because I see you by yourself hiking around and kind of doing this nomadic lifestyle. But I feel like there's not much it might just be my internet. I know our something was not going well. Yes, you'll find an affordable apartment. I feel like you living in a major city. I feel like you living kind of out in the boondocks. Did you hear all of that? Yes, you may, and then you're done. um, it's weird because I see you out like having maybe like already traveling because for this, I feel like out there in the summer. But yet I don't see you leaving your gym job for like 6 months. So does your gym have multiple branches? Like, are they all over the nation where you could transfer your job? So yeah, I still feel like you're working for them, but moving. We're thinking maybe, but very soon. I'm sorry. There's not much I can do about the internet right now. So I can try and ask my daughter and see if she's on. So give me just a moment and see if she's on upstairs. Whoop. I don't know if it's still freezing or not. So yeah, you could try and rerun the video and then let me know what you missed because that'll be easier. Okay. Yucky. Oh, it's better now. Okay. Well, I was like, get off of YouTube. get off of all of the internet right now. All right. Let's see if it lasts. And of course, my kids are like, but wait, can I? And I'm like, no, because I'm mean. It should still record. So just while we're on live, go rewind it back and see what you get, and then catch up to where we are live and let me know. Okay. All right, Ashley. Also, Ashley, I understood last week when you said about what you said. I knew why you were. So you know what I'm saying right now. Okay, let me go back and read your thing. So they came back and told you they want to offer you a job, and then you want to know. Hang on, let me read it. Oh, your current principal's not happy. I do feel like it'll be long term. I absolutely do feel like it will be long term. I don't feel like it will be a short term thing. I think their reticence to offer like a long term contract right now is just because of their past history. And it costs them money to have to like put in the long-term contract and stuff. So they want to make sure that they have somebody they can trust and like, there's a good cohesive relationship, and there's somebody who's dependable and reliable and also good at what they do. So yeah, I do feel like they'll offer that. I think that's why they do it. I honestly think it's about investment. So I feel like they'll offer it to you. I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, Emily, I'll check for it. Okay, so what pieces are you missing? Because I don't want to go back and repeat all of it because I've been on here 22 minutes. Yeah. So just tell me what pieces. Okay, hold on, Emily. I'll put you on the list. So, Kay, listen up really quick. I'm going to give this, since it's not choppy right now. And this is what I'm saying. So your dog is with you. You will be moving. But I feel like it's not like a permanent place. I don't feel like you'll like North Dakota. I feel like you'll be more in the Wyoming, Colorado area. I feel like you kind of live out in the boonies because I don't see a lot of people around. I feel like kind of alone. I don't see you with a partner living there. I see you kind of doing your own thing. But I feel like people wise, you'll get along with people more and kind of find your tribe more in the Wyoming, Colorado area. I know my connection is unstable, so I'm going to try and move through these. What else did I say? You'll stay with your job. Your company will keep you for another 6 months, but I think they transfer your job over. That's why I still feel it but I feel like you're moving out there much sooner. And I feel like this nomadic thing. So I don't feel like you're like in a really permanent spot right away. And yes, I feel like you'll get housing cheaper. Ooh. I might end this and then try and, I don't know. Is anybody else having a hard time? Is anybody else having a hard time hearing me? Okay. Okay. It's really frustrating for me. Sorry. I might be getting new internet now too. I wish I need to get a new phone and then I can start doing these from my phone and it doesn't matter. Then I won't have to be dependent on my Wi-Fi. Okay. You're gonna be okay, Ashley. Okay. Nicole, if you want to ask your questions, and Devry. I don't know why it's so bad this week. No. Not even just because of the pay cut. I feel like it's going to be like mind numbing work for you. It's going to frustrate you and annoy you. Like at first you think, oh, it'll be good because the hours or whatever. But I just feel like the bureaucracy and the people will annoy you. And the political will annoy you. Can you hear me now? I might end this stream and then restart it and see if this is still having so many problems. Fuck. Can anyone hear me? We know this doesn't work for my phone because my phone's super trash old. And the phone I want, I'm going to change carriers and the phone I want is not in stock right now. Can you wait? Yeah, you can hear me or no? KK can hear me. Julia can hear me. Okay, Ashley can hear me. Nicole, turn your volume up. Maybe there's something wrong with YouTube right now. I don't know. We couldn't use like the apps on our TV. They weren't working, but you could use them through Comcast. I don't know, whatever. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Okay, so did you hear what I said? That I feel like with the secretary job, it's not even just that it's like makes less money. I just feel like it feels like annoying and too bureaucratic and not really something that you want to do. What's your other question? I think it'd be more annoying than anything. I also feel like it's not that there's a learning curve. It's just, I don't know. I do. I always hate these questions. Like, could I asked, like, could they get married? And I heard yes, but I also feel like it's a little bit, um, till you get there. Like, it's not happening as quickly as you want it. And like, just enjoy the journey of it. Enjoy getting to know him, needing to have really healthy, open, honest communication. I had this talk with a friend this morning who I just said, look, if you want to argue your point, as her husband's older, I was like, if you want to argue your point, I said, he does not get emotions. He gets facts and logic because that's how a lot of lawyers are. So stop getting emotional about it and trying to like appeal to that side of him, and just facts and logic about what your reasonings are for why you want this to be the way you want it to be. And he'll like listen. But the minute you start to get emotional, he's like, he can't hear you. So it feels like learning to communicate in a way the person can receive it and hear it and understand it. And it doesn't mean that emotions are bad or you should never be emotional. But when you're trying to negotiate with someone who doesn't maybe process emotions well, being emotional is like immediate shutdown for them. So I feel like it's learning how to communicate your wants, needs, and desires and do it in a way that's like standing in your divine feminine energy rather than feeling like you're being needy or whatever, because then it comes off that way energetically. See, I have like, they keep showing me someone who's like kind of like, like in shape, polo shirt, and a watch. Like there's something about a watch. Is he into watches? Deborah, if you want to start posting your question, you can. Please like, subscribe if you're new here. Sorry for the crappy connection. I am getting a new phone soon. I haven't done it yet, but I am because okay, perfect. Confused what you're saying, but he's in shape. Something about a watch. That if somebody gives you a watch, like your relationship ends soon. And I grew up in my family with like a lot of weird superstitions, like you don't give anybody pearls because it brings them tears. You never, ever, ever hand somebody anything sharp. You have to pay them for it. Which is really funny. And yet, when certain family members decided they were going to try and be hurtful and mean to me, knowing that for a long time was really insecure about my psychic stuff. They would always dig at me for that. And yet when they were like concerned about something, they had no problems asking me if something was going to happen or what I thought about something spiritually. Isn't that funny how fucked up people are? That is why as an adult, you get to choose who your family is. You do not have to hang out with them anymore if they suck. I don't, genetics be damned. Okay. Devry, what is your question, love? Are you here? I'm not bitter. Something interesting I thought about. I was going to make a little video on TikTok and I can't remember what it was. It'll come to me. You're welcome. Devry, are you here? So it's the first thing that came to me is like, seeking happiness outside of yourself. But I also see something genetic. Do you know if depression runs in your family or thyroid issues run in your family? About the depression and or thyroid issues? And the rest of your life, I think are you in Virginia right now? But I heard Virginia first, and then I hear that song. Who's the guy who sings it? I can see his blonde hair and glasses. He's like, West Virginia, take me home, country roads, to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home, country roads. Or road. I always say country roads. Country roads, take me home. So you may be in West Virginia. Like, I don't see far from where you're at now. I have to be honest with you. I see, and this is not just for you, this is for a lot of people. I've had clients I had one client who's from out here and she was like, I'm going to go out to California and I'm going to it'll be so much better. It'll be a better place to work and people will be better and blah, 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 blah. And she got out there and it was hard. And I tried to warn her, it's not about location. Hi, Allie. It's not about location. Okay, I'll check in a minute. It's not about location. It's about understanding that happiness literally comes from within. And when you're in a really tough spot of feeling miserable and alone, it's hard to see that you can find a way out of that. So I genuinely have empathy for you. And I genuinely have told people, sometimes it's literally about waking up and when they're like, oh, be grateful. And it's all right, I can wiggle my toes today. The day fucking sucks, but I can wiggle my toes and someone somewhere out there can't wiggle their toes. So I'm going to just be grateful about the fact that I can wiggle my toes. Find anything and start building on that. But I do feel a little bit of there's something going on metabolically that's sort of also lending towards this. There's this maybe not have grown up with great belief systems around myself, around my own worth and value. So there's that aspect of it, and we've talked about that, but there's also this aspect of there's something metabolic maybe that's going on. So was that yes to thyroid or yes to depression? Hi, Regine. Hi, Sneha. I hope I said that right. With two eyes, I read it. Hi. Because that's my brain. And one for Allie. No to anything else. I just keep, it's like there's that something where there's something metabolic going on where you might need some kind of intervention, like maybe a medication, maybe you have a thyroid issue and you need a different supplementation. Maybe it's like there's something also lacking. So it's like, yes, there's this whole belief system. Yes, there's this whole manifesting thing. Yes, there's this idea of like always looking outside of myself to find happiness, but happiness isn't like it doesn't mean about always being joyful and wonderful and contentment. But I also think there's this metabolic part. And I think it would be really ignorant of me to sit here and go and unhelpful to like, because I do believe that our thoughts create our reality. And I do believe in all of that. But there's a part of me that feels like you might really benefit from either going to therapy and talking to a counselor and sort of working that out. And like, look at, is there a possibility that I have depression? Or is there a possibility that there's some other factor here? The other part of that is like, or is there a possibility I have thyroid issues? Because thyroid can lead to, like, when you have thyroid insufficiency or hypothyroidism, you can have issues with having anxiety and depression and fatigue. And why have I know a little bit about that? Well, besides the nursing background, but I've been looking at a lot lately because I actually think I have an iodine deficiency of all things. What do you not understand? I have to look up what CKD is. Sorry, dear. I don't know. Your question was, I'm very unhappy where I am presently, and I don't know why. But I can say that I've never been happy anywhere and won't be until I get to understanding from my guides as to why. And every single time I explain to you what that answer is. I don't know what else to tell you. I literally every single time I say, like, a lot of this is about belief systems. And so that's why I'm saying maybe you need somebody outside of you to help you, somebody to talk to, and going to therapy that would be really beneficial for you. There's something else going on. When we have metabolic issues, sometimes it creates anxiety, depression, things of feeling like nothing's ever going to get better. Everything feels like it's that hopelessness type feeling. That's something that I can't treat. I can tell you to look at all of these things like manifesting and belief systems and how your thoughts create everything. But at some point, sometimes you're like, you start to spiral down and you need somebody who works one-on-one with you. And there may be a metabolic issue because they're making me feel like it's something genetic. So it could be something where I was like, what genetic things run in families that would create that sense of like, I've never been happy. So I am answering your question. You're just not getting the answers that you want. I don't know what answers you want, or like, like there's not a magic switch that they're going to go, this is your answer, this is your problem, go put the orange vase on the left side of the thing and then everything will be better, because it's not. It's a process that you have to work through. And it may be that you need to go to therapy. It may be that there's a medical intervention that needs to happen. I am not against all of that. So I'm answering your question. You're not getting, I don't, maybe because I've asked them and they're like, they said, it's like, yeah, there's the aspect of the manifesting thing, but there may be something metabolic going on. Our bodies are like incredible things. Like I quit eating dairy because I didn't realize, I was like, why do I feel so tired all the time? Well, I was using as a protein source, eating yogurt and skyr, and I was just tired every day. Like no matter how much coffee I drank, no matter how much sleep I got, I was just exhausted. I quit eating dairy, and guess what? I'm awake all day long. I feel great. And I had to talk to a friend whose husband is really lactose intolerant. And he's like, yeah, I mean, like our bodies are sensitive to all kinds of things. We carry parasites. The parasites can create anxiety and depression and inflammation and food sensitivities. Like it's more complicated than like, here's this one thing, here's your answer. You can fix it in 5 minutes and you're done. Like everything that they always give me around you is like, it's a process. It's not a one-day thing. That's also the reason why when I do private readings, I don't like to do them very often for someone, because a lot of, here's the stuff you need to do to fix this, but it's not an overnight thing. That's also why I think like when there's like a lot of energy healers, I don't know. I think people, when they want to come to me for energy, I'm like, yeah, I can work on it some, but like at the end of the day, there's also work you have to do. Like people, when someone says they're a healer, it's not because they fix anything for you. They might give you the tools. They can't fix some of this stuff. Thyroid issues cause anxiety. Parasite and yeast overgrowth causes anxiety. Foggy brain, depression. Like there's all kinds of shit that our bodies are really sensitive to. And we sort of have to be like really looking at it. I would recommend for you, and this is something I started recommending to people, is like start keeping a food diary. Write down everything you eat. And then if you start to feel weird, like keep it as like a timed thing, right? So maybe get like a, one of those to-do list calendars that has like the hours in it. Write down what you eat and when you eat it, and then write down next to it like how you feel. Like if you start to feel depressed or sad or really exhausted, write down the time and see if there's a correlation between something you're eating and getting tired afterwards, or getting anxious afterwards, or getting depressed or angry or overwhelmed. I mean, all those things that could happen. Because it may be the food that's causing some of it. Are you going outside? Are you getting, it's like there's all these things that are like, she needs to go outside. She needs to get connected with nature again. She needs to go for walks. She needs to sort of find that within herself, and understanding that there is no one outside of you that's going to make you happier. This is not just for you. This is for everybody who asks me about relationships on here. And anybody who's married will tell you this. So I know some of you can chime in and say this. I had this faulty idea too, of like, you're in a relationship, like you're just married, like it's happy and everybody, like it's all great. But like, if you haven't really worked on your own stuff, it just gets multiplied when you're in a relationship. So it's like, it's great, this idea of like thinking you're finding one and the partnership, but you still have to do the shitty work on yourself. Like you've got to clean up all these belief systems that get thrown in on you. And also this idea of what happiness is. Happiness is not joy and excitement all the time. There is part of life that is a bit repetitive and redundant. Just by the nature of that, you have to earn money because we live in a capitalistic society. There is part of life that is like you go through ebbs and flows. And like, can you be okay when you're in the valley and not at the peak? And just know that some days are going to be kind of crappy. Hi, Leo sign. And I'm not trying to lecture you, and I know you're frustrated, but I answer your question. I just don't think you're getting the answer you want. Like they're talking about it's multiple stuff of why you're not happy over time. Some of it is growing up, and it's like feeling like I just feel like there's this like hopelessness that runs through your family. And I also feel like you're sort of placed in this position in your family to have to somehow be the, not the scapegoat, but the rock. Like it seems like everybody else is allowed to fall apart and you're not. And I just feel like I can't help but wonder if therapy might be good, or finding a coach or a community out there that you can connect with, like in person. And some of it is like literally like, okay, my day fucking sucks, but I can wiggle my toes. So like that's what I look at to be my happy moment of the day. Like before you go to bed, what was good for today? Okay, maybe it's not all the big stuff and like this really wonderful thing didn't show up, but I can still pay my bills today, my lights are still on. And it sucks to think like that's your thing, but it's like that's pretty amazing. A lot of people can't do that. And it's not to dismiss what you're going through. It's not to dismiss your heartache and your struggle. I don't know. So your question was, what do you do to be happy? I mean, that's the way I read it. If I read it wrong, please. And they're saying that it's like there is a biological component. So that's why I said, is there depression or thyroid issues? Because there's something physiological going on. There's a metabolic issue that needs to be addressed. I really get this feeling that you're sort of, you isolate yourself and you're kind of homebound a little bit. And I think some of that comes from um, not getting your needs met when you were little. So it's easier to isolate rather than like put yourself out there. Did you hear that? And not that I'm necessarily saying this, but I think this is a really important thing to bring up. I think it's on July 16th, the National Suicide Hotline is going to become 988 instead of that long number. So just 988. I think that's so smart. I don't know why it took them so long to do that. And there's a lot of good books out there. I mean, look, you can do some of the research on your own about like looking at food sensitivities and looking at parasite overgrowth and that stuff. But it's like a combination for you. It's not one thing and then it's fixed. It's a whole bunch. And I'm sorry it's not what you want to hear. And where we ultimately, I said West Virginia is what I felt. So in that area. Regine. Do you have stenosis in one of your kidneys? Have they talked about putting a shunt in? Because I keep seeing this like a shunt being put in one of your kidneys. I'm leaning it towards being the right kidney, but so they're showing me what would looks like a shunt in one of your kidneys, and a shunt is just opening up the pathway so that blood flow can move through it better. So stenosis is a narrowing of that, and I was just wondering if there's a narrowing either in one of the arteries that brings blood to your kidney, and if they're going to put a shunt in. So if you don't know yet, just keep that in mind that might be something coming down the way for you. So I do feel like you may need dialysis at a point, but I don't know that it's like I'm on dialysis forever. I feel like it might be something, but I also feel like there's a new medication, either that's still in the testing phases. But I feel like they're going to find a medication that sort of helps maintain where you're at or improve just slightly. Do you also have cysts on your kidneys? Because I keep feeling like cysts. I was going to say, I have to say, I do see you getting surgery, but I didn't know if it was that or if it was for a kidney transplant. Is the bariatric surgery where they're going to like smush your stomach down to a teeny tiny? I also want to say, yes, okay, that might be what I see, why I'm seeing like a sleeve over it or something. That might be what I'm seeing actually. I want to say this because this is something I saw and I thought was something I never ever knew before, but I think 30% of the people that get bariatric surgery or gastric bypass or something like that end up having other addiction issues. So if there's any way that there's like a food addiction issue, like people would end up having like shopping addiction or even alcoholism after. So if you think that's a possibility, just make sure you would like no, my connection's unstable, so I'm really sorry about this. Okay. I feel like they're going to put you on a new medication, but I don't know if it's like a new to the market or it's a testing one that will help you. And I do feel like I don't see it getting better per se. I just see it maybe not progressing terribly for a little while. It may down the road, you may need it. You can attest to the shopping. So that's why I think they're bringing that up. They're like, talk about that. So I would, yeah. So look at, because sometimes I saw something interesting too. I read something recently about that obesity is really what people think it is, that it's actually a lack of like the muscle that you need to burn. I know that's like, oh, big, whatever, but I think people don't look at it that way. So you have no connection. So look up support groups for shopping addiction or support groups for post-bariatric surgery. I'm sure there's some on Facebook, but for people going through it, so they have a support group to help them get through that afterwards, because there's something more to it than just the weight loss. There's going to be body dysmorphia issues, because I know a lot of times people have like they lose the weight and you always think, oh, I'll feel so great once I've lost weight. And I'm, but then they don't feel like they're in their own body either. Okay. So Ashley's, you guys could connect here. You could have each other to support. Okay. Okay, so I'm just typing. If anyone's watching, that's not saying. I'm just typing to her what the message is. Maybe reload, just like reload your YouTube. Okay, so basically, it's this feeling of, I do happening. Maybe it's a gastric sleeve they're doing. And that's why I saw it the way I did. And then getting into making sure like ahead of time you're in support groups that prepare you for what happens emotionally and psychologically afterwards. Because it feels like, even when people lose weight, they still don't necessarily feel great in their body and their skin. They still feel like body dysmorphia, like this isn't my body. And so it feels like they're wanting you to make sure that you're having these support systems around you set up ahead of time. So, and as far as the kidney stuff, I don't feel like it gets like a million times better, and it's not something you don't have to worry about, but I feel like it's but better. And I also feel like a pill or something, they're going to start you on a new medication of some sort. Okay. All right. All right. Emily and Allie, you guys are up, and Leo sign. Yes, of course, KK. Always, always, always. Starry sky. Welcome, friend. I was thinking about you the other day. Did you have an issue with your feet in the past? Because I keep feeling like the arch of my foot, like having like chronic plantar fasciitis or something like that on your right foot. So after KK, I've got Leo sign and Starry Sky. Yes, Emily, did you have an issue with your right foot, like a plantar fasciitis? Because they're showing me the arch of the foot. Or flat feet, maybe even, but it's like I feel like I'm more on my right foot than my left. Oh, okay. But your right foot in boot camp. So I definitely feel like you'll be able to rejoin. And I don't know why they're showing me the feet. Maybe it's just a validation that it's like a weird thing. And like, say you did infantry before as your thing, like you ended up doing infantry. I feel like whatever it is now, you become more specialized if you rejoin. So you might go into something that's like, maybe it's cybersecurity or something like that, but it just feels more specialized and not so much combat-y as it feels like I don't want to say like at a desk, but like it's just different. I don't know if that resonates at all. Gotcha. I feel like they'll take you back. I got to be honest. I don't want to be an asshole, but I feel like they need people. It feels like whatever your mental health issues were, it was more about age than it was about that you're mentally ill. So it was more about not being emotionally prepared for it, whereas like age has given you a sense of strength and wisdom that you didn't have before, like a sense of self and purpose. I mean, I'm always amazed at like, our brains don't fully form really and function, aren't like matured until we're at least 25. I think that's why I didn't feel like I was like even ready to consider marriage until I was 27. I was like, yeah. So I feel like you'll be fine. I do feel like they'll make sure, like do the like more psychological testing to really make sure before they like put you through the rigors. I also feel like they're starting to, I mean, there's a lot of circumstances in the military of SA and against women. And I feel like there's some changes coming down the line where they're forced to take it more seriously. Not for you, but I'm saying like just in general. So it feels like treating women a little bit more respectfully than maybe they have in the past. There's not the such heavy misogyny there because hello patriarchy. Okay. I feel like you'll be better off this time than you were last time. And again, that's just age and maturity that comes with it and wisdom and sort of like not letting the bullshit get to you. Cause I don't feel like it's like it felt more circumstantial than like just everything of like being really young and then like not having had so much structure in the past. So it's like you're not, you know what to expect when you get there this time. So it's like, all right, it's a totally different ball game. I feel like this would be a 4-year thing for you and getting the credentials that you need to do stuff and then going into working either with companies that are in the private sector that are then, or working in something like, if it is in the government, it's not in the military, it might be CIA or FBI, something like that. When did you just get out? I don't feel like it's that long last year. So maybe there's like a 6-year gap. So maybe there's like another 5 years or so, just a few years. I don't feel like it's super, super far out. So it feels like it's a long time if I say 5 years now. But listen, I've had people tell me that I was gonna be like really amazing and like really doing well when I'm like 60. And I'm like, 20 years. This is my friend Paul before he passed away. And I was like, Paul, he's one of my older friends he was somebody that I knew through the church. So he was like in his 80s. So it's not like he was like a young guy who passed away, but he had such a funny sense of humor, like really kind of cheeky um and he's like, oh, when you're 60. And I'm like, 20 years, Paul. 20 years. Not much I can do about that. Yeah. So listen, it seems like a long time, but I'm about to like, my kid is starting kindergarten and I feel like I just had her. So in September, she's starting kindergarten. I literally feel like I just had her. Like it's like time flies so quickly. So, Allie, what's your question? And KK, Leo sign, if you want to go ahead and ask yours too, please do. I feel like you're going to know this, like, this is almost June. I feel like you're going to know in June. This doesn't feel anything that far out. Yeah, it feels really, really quick. Leo sign, are you around still? You want to put your question in? So I have people, so on TikTok over there, I have where they can ask questions and, but it's free, but like, I'm not like, oh, I got to get these out in a timely manner. I'm like, oh, let me just go through and pick a couple of readings here and there. Like, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get a reading. But I have people who email me and they're like, I just want to ask privately. I'm like, then you pay for a private reading, or you can go over and catch me on YouTube. I'm trying to be best to find one. I'm not hearing from anyone. Just relax. Like, just relax. Follow up with a couple of them. It's not going to hurt you to follow up. And I think too many people in the younger generations do not follow up. And I find that very strange. In nursing, I always followed up. I've sent a resume in and I said, or applied for a job. And I would say, just checking. I wanted to make sure that you got the resume. I want to make sure you got my application. I feel like there's something on your resume or whatever sheet that they call it now, because I've seen different names and I haven't written one in a long time. Where it's like not eye-catching enough, or they look at it and they're like, but it just needs to be tweaked slightly. But also follow up. I'm really interested. I'm so excited. I'd really love to do this internship. I just wanted to make sure that you got my thing. I want to make sure that I'm considered. Like, follow up, show excitement, show enthusiasm, show that you want the job. There's nothing wrong with that. Fine. Yeah. Yeah. If you know anybody who works there, but then if you don't know anybody who works there, because I never had that kind of a, like, I never had the ins getting jobs. So I followed up and I showed interest. And listen to KK because she works in big organizations. I never had those connections. So I showed my enthusiasm. And then I worked like a motherfucking dog. Like, sure, I'll work whatever days you want me to work. I worked like a dog. Stop thinking it's because you're first generation. So KK said, what about alumni at your university? She's really good with like finding. If you tell the story, if you're looking at manifesting from a manifest, and if you think, oh, well, it's only because of this, like, I giving referrals to people. If I haven't worked with you and I cannot vouch for you personally, it's why I won't refer people to certain readers or energy workers unless I know that they're really connected and they're really doing the work. So, like, if I recommend people on here or on TikTok and I'm like, you should check them out, it's because I can tell you that they're good at what they do. I had one friend ask me for a referral and I gave it, but no, I was always like, because I was worried about how that looked on me. So ask people, like if you're in a sorority, ask people within the sorority if they know any alumni that can help you out. A lot of times within those organizations, like they're like, oh yeah, I'll help you out. Like they don't even have to know you. My husband was in a fraternity and I know one of our friends now, he's always working with the fraternity members that are in the area and like helping them out. So you can find the alumni of your university and they'll help you out too. Literally everything. I just read read something somewhere and it was like in Hollywood, like everything is your connections. Like the biggest way to get in is to just start willing to do grunt work and B, connections. Start talking to people, make connections, make friends, like create those relationships. Follow people who work for the organizations that you want on social media. Start interacting. I follow a lot of marketing people because I find it interesting and fascinating and I just think they're nice, whatever. But like, I don't work in the industry, but like, you can make connections wherever, just like, you know, be interested in what they do. So also find people on social media. Everybody's on social media. And just like say like, hey, I'm looking at getting an internship. What do you recommend? Is there something that should be on my resume that I don't have? Would you mind taking a look at my resume and tell me that how you would tweak it if you were looking to hire someone? You don't even necessarily have to ask them to give you a recommendation or just do you mind looking at it? I know it's a lot of time. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, everything is a learning process and you're never going to go into something and be 100%. You have to be willing to like make mistakes, look like an idiot and know that like, just be like, I'm learning. Like I'm learning. And like I tell my kids, this is really silly, but this is the way we should really like approach life. My kids are like, but what if I'm wrong? Or what if I'm like, well, that's why you go to school to learn. Like that's kind of what life is about. It's a constant learning process. And you're never going to be the 20-year expert without being the first year total fuck up, right? Just it is what it is. You're not going to get good at something until you like just do. Leo Sky, are you here? Or Leo Sign, are you here? But you'll get it. I feel like it's sooner than you think. But it's all there's something that needs a little shift within your resume or paperwork or something. And I don't know that that's really psychic, but I do feel like it's sooner than you think. Leo Sign, are you here? Because I know you were here earlier. You're welcome, Allie. Leo Sign or Starry Sky, go ahead and put your questions in. Have you been having a little bit of anxiety lately? Or do you have this right now, KK? Like I just feel like a nervousness in my solar plexus. Are you there? Is there a huge delay? No. So I just feel like I'm in this energy of feeling stuck and things aren't moving. But at the same time, I feel like there's something opening up within my crown chakra. So it's either like I don't want to call it like a power up, but like where a new ability sort of opens up. This is within your crown chakra third eye. So not your clairaudience or sentience. This would be like claircognizance or clairvoyance, but I'm leaning towards claircognizance. So connections with your guides, and that is within the next few weeks. But I also feel like this solar plexus blockage kind of thing, and then also feeling like I'm just kind of stuck, like almost like I'm stuck in a boat and I'm just like floating around and without direction or being able to see land. And I'm just like, it's that feeling of like, we just get there sometimes in our own journeys of just feeling like nothing's happening. And I think it's because they're like, you can't see the currents underneath taking you there. And I feel like by the end of July, you've got more movement and more sense of stability and awareness of like a direct. And that's where they're saying like birds before land. So whatever manifestation that's coming is like that's before land. There's like that dual feeling of like place. And then I heard birds before land. Neville Goddard, your manifestation coming. But that doesn't. And it feels. It's interesting. I feel like I'm almost off balance, like I'm walking up a hill, but I'm, you know, those like fun house little things where it's like you see yourself getting smaller or bigger. And it's really because like the floor is kind of coming up at an angle. And that's the feeling I'm getting of like, oh, that's a weird symbolism. Like maybe I'm too big for the space I'm in. So it's like outgrowing the life I've created. Have you thought moving? And I feel like cities or towns, like, so maybe, I mean, I know that you're in, have you thought about moving to Vancouver? Ah, fucker. Am I still buffering? I have my eyes closed. I didn't know I was buffering. KK, what did you hear? Uh, I feel like the answer comes to you around July or August. So I think that's what that is about, seeing it and understanding it. But understand that there's like, even that you're out to sea and you can't see any land anywhere, they're like the current is still under you, taking you to where you need to go. And I also sort of feel like that's kind of a, and I'm not big into general readings, but I feel like that's kind of a theme running through a lot of people, is not really feeling like a direction, feeling like I'm just out to sea floating. I don't think there's anything you can do. I think you're just supposed to just like ride it out and let the current take you. Leo sign, are you here? Starry Sky, what, your dog Moo Moo? Moo? You're welcome, Moo. So when they did his tests, did they have a did they check his sodium? So this is for Starry Sky. When they did his test, did they check his sodium? Am I still buffering? Yeah. I don't think the electrolytes are covered in that. It's just like blood count. Has he been drinking an awful lot lately? I wonder if it's the sodium thing and maybe they didn't think about it, but it's like a lot. Okay. I think it's a sodium issue. So to the doctor, has he been peeing a lot? That could also be a blood sugar issue, but did they do a serum blood glucose on him? Because I saw a sodium issue and I saw him drinking a lot, like drinking lots and lots and lots. So you can have a seizure if your blood sugar is off. You can have a seizure if your electrolytes are off. So I feel like peeing a lot too. So bring him back in and say he's drinking a lot. He's peeing a lot. I would like his electrolytes drawn and I would like a glucose done, a serum glucose done. I think that will get you your answers. But I feel like there might be a sodium issue that's creating that. Okay. I don't know if that's psychic or just me having been a nurse, but that's what I feel. And I'm sorry that they didn't think of that themselves and didn't ask those questions. So that's poopy. Leo sign, are you there? And let me know, will you email me your doggy is. Leo sign, are you here? Maybe I'll just email you. Probably left because it's annoying to sit out with all the buffering. I'm so sorry. This is like such a shit connection. It's what happens when you work out of the basement. I'm one of those nerds that lives out of my basement, works out of my basement. I sit on the computer. Chat rooms. All right, lovies. I'll see you guys next week. The proceeds or whatever, the 30% is going to go to the Planned Parenthood. I think I put ACLU on here, but I lied. I meant Planned Parenthood. I want you guys to remember that when those children pass because of school shootings, that it's not just those families that are changed forever. Those that are left behind will now forever be wondering why them and not why their friends and not them. They will have survivor's guilt. They will have all kinds of anxiety and PTSD, and they will never be the same kids again either. I think I said a long time ago around the year that I thought Beto wouldn't win just because of the way Texas was, unless something else happened, that something else would have to happen. And I sort of wonder if, unfortunately, this is what has to happen in order to make a real change. I don't know. This is one fucked up world, and I do not understand humans at all. Hi, Roberto. All right, lovies. I'm going to head out. I hope you have a wonderful week. Check on TikTok. I took kind of a spark. I was like not really on it much last week or posting a lot because I was really overwhelmed because someone had posted a picture of, I don't know, she was this white woman who was like trying to show that plantations are still being, profitable to families who used to, who've owned them for 4 generations, who used to own slaves way back when, and which is really not that far back when. And there was a tree, and I was like, you should not have that in your thing. That is a tree that was used to take, I didn't tell her this, but I could see what happened on that tree, and I could hear the sound. And then I woke up in the middle of the night, and there was a spirit with me that was a soul that had been a slave on that plantation. And what they did to those people is horrific. And I'm sorry, but unforgivable. And the fact that families are still making money from those plantations is horrifically wrong. But if you're posting things because you want to make awareness, just think about what the fuck you're posting. Just Leo sign, post your question. Just think about what you're posting when you're posting stuff. And think about what's connected, because not everybody just sees a picture the way you do. And everything carries energy. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Think about our animals. Again, our animals see stuff. Our animals, whether you see it or not. So, Leo sign, what's your question? So I know. I really think people need to think who want. I don't know. They just don't think. You just don't think. Just not thinking. And I won't tell you how it sounds and how it, like, everything, like as if I'm there, and it's fucking reparation. Beyond. And I feel like that land should all be broken up and given to the family members of those slaves. Allie, you're a sweetheart. I'm like, yeah, I probably should have thought of that to type it in. I think Leo sign is lagging. Oh, there you are. I feel it might get picked up by the AP and then dispersed that way. Because it feels like getting dispersed bigger than just that. So I don't know what it's about, but it just feels like getting dispersed on a bigger level. Does that make sense that an AP might pick it up? I think you're delayed. Okay. Alrighty. I hope everybody has a great week. If you have the day off tomorrow, enjoy. I hope the weather is nice where you're at. Please be kind, be aware of the energy that you spend out there, and be aware of the energy that you receive from others. I will see you next week. Is that okay, Leo? I think he's not hearing me. I think you're delayed. I answered it. He's not live with us, guys. Yeah, I think he's delayed. So now I have to sit here for a few minutes to make sure he heard me. You are lagging. Because I answered it. I said, it will be published. I feel like it gets picked up by the AP and dispersed that way. So the Associated Press. Okay. So it gets picked up by the Associated Press is what I saw, AP, and getting dispersed that way. Okay. So it does get picked up. So I don't know exactly. It gets published. I feel like it gets picked up, and I saw AP. So it feels like it gets dispersed that way. Okay, you're here. All right. All right, everybody have a good week. I will see you soon.